Hey guys, what's up? This is Minor Boy 16. Excuse the background noise, there's a bunch of cicadas, but I am doing the driving review of the hogs Hypertrack vehicle. I have driven this only once before, and I put a full charge through it, and then now I charged it back up. It's on green. It's signified on the charger, so I'm going to unplug it. And I'm going to wind up the cable. I like the feature that they added with the ability to wind up the cable. It makes it a lot more clean. But you're able, once you have it charged, you reset the controller. But first you want the car turned on, which all you do is you just flip this switch on, closes the port and turns on the car. And you turn on your transmitter, and then your transmitter blinks, and then once it feels like it has enough, once it feels that it's connected to the car, it drives. So I'm not necessarily good at this with one hand, but... And you also have the trim on here, which I do need to trim mine out a bit. Not necessarily the easiest thing to do. Hang on a sec. Put you down, guys, down for a sec. Got the Hypertrack. Okay, there we go. Alright, working again. So, the way the trim works is it alters one of the motors, one of the motors speed regulators, which enables for the Hypertrack to be controlled without having to have a turn arm on it. And there you go, you saw it's able to go upside down. And it's able to go through some pretty serious grass. Our grass here is really crappy. And it's able to drive through it pretty easily. There are some times where it does get stuck, but the majority of the time you can just move it out of the spot where it is. It's not very much fun to have to intervene with it, but there you go. You're able to back right out. So it's able to do all kinds of flipping maneuvers. And if I drive it out onto the street, again, this is all one hand, but I'm going to show you just how much speed this little guy packs. Pretty fast little RC. Nothing sluggish about it being a tank-based vehicle. It has plenty of power in those tiny little motors inside of it, but however, you do not want to run this too much dependent on the terrain. Depending on the terrain, if you don't want to run it too much on full speed, otherwise you could potentially overheat the motors if you're going to be running it lap after lap after lap on the same turf. You want to tune down the speed just a bit, which it does have proportional throttle, thankfully. It's a nice, fast little vehicle. Honestly, you can't get bored with this very easily. There's always something you can do with it. A second, getting some crap off the bottom of it. And you don't want to go through mud or water with this because it can get up into it and then it can end up rusting part of the motors and stuff like that. You want to treat this as if it's one of the other hogs infrared-based vehicles, which aren't designed for too much abuse, but this can handle quite a bit. See, it can go pretty fast. I'm actually having to run to keep up with it. Turn it around here. The controls are extremely smooth. Very smooth control. Thanks to its nice pistol grip controller, which actually fits the age group that this is recommended for, which is 12 and up. It's not a puny little car. It is a pretty decent size for what its design is. Just hope I'm not scratching it up by accidentally going in those little crevices and stuff. Okay, it doesn't look like it. But yeah, it's able to handle quite a bit of terrain. In reverse, it's only able to go so fast. It's only able to go about half speed, because if you try going in reverse and try going at a higher speed than half speed on the, it'll end up flipping it out, ruining the ability for it to drive. As I said, it doesn't perform too well in grass, but once you find a place where it can handle itself, it'll drive beautifully. Take it out of the grass and back over onto the sidewalk. See, it's able to handle grass. You just can't, if it gets stuck, you just don't want to leave it there. See, if it gets stuck and stops completely, then it can end up getting nasty and end up getting jammed up and not be able to run. And those motors put out a very high-pitched squeal when you're going slowly, which means you got a very, 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 very high quality motor in there, which is brushless motors instead of brushed motors, which in their previous micro models and cars of this size, they use brushed motors, which don't really like to be used in high speed or in situations like this. See, it's on its other side, which is black with little red stripes on it. And it does have suspension, so that's why it's not jostled around very much by going over high speed on track and concrete like this. It looks sort of like a bug. The body of it looks like a bug, but most of it just looks like a tank, and that's what it's designed to look like. Oh man, I thought I had my ability to get out of there. There we go. It really doesn't like our yard. And they kind of put the motors in the back when they could have been up front, and I kind of wish that they put the skinnier parts up front, because the skinnier parts are able to get over a little bit more terrain than the bigger front wheels, but it's able to handle itself pretty nicely. Man, the cicadas are so annoying. There we go. A lot of the time you're able to get yourself out of trouble that you get in. But anyway, this was my driving review of the Air Hogs Hypertrack all-terrain vehicle I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Stay cool, YouTube. Bye.